Hello. This is a test of the broadcast system. Can you hear this broadcast? You may, or you may not. Hello? How about now?
I was able to follow along. Welcome to Kitsap Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Before we start, I'd like to welcome Ginny Sugimoto forward for an auction announcement.
Good morning. My name's Ginny Sugimoto, and our family's been attending KUUF for a few decades. The auction is always something we look forward to every year, and I especially love the gingerbread houses made by Nathaniel and Jacob Stewart. They're my favorite item. I was worried for a minute because I didn't see them, but they are there now. So thanks for your generosity in donating and bidding in the week ahead. The Soul Matters theme this month is the gift of generosity. And when I look around our house, it's filled with KUUF auction treasures. At our back door is a pastel original by Alan Newberg of our children. That was probably done, over 20 years ago. And in our kitchen nook is a beautiful maple wall plaque with the UU7 Principles by Brian Watson. It is something we really treasure. For our Montana cabin is on the auction, and we'd really love to have you come. The Madison Valley is my favorite place. It is a magical place. You're very close to nature there. Lots of wildlife. And we have all sorts of games, everything you could possibly need. You don't have to bring anything. The important thing is bidding is now underway and will go to 6 p.m. next Sunday, November 12th. And it's not too late to submit items and events. They will be accepted through November 12th. So sign in today if you're not already bidding to make your account. I just looked this morning and we're a third of the way there. So the goal is 17,000, so start bidding. And a lot of the events, people need to check their calendars and bid high. So the last minute bidding on contested items may extend the bidding for 30 minutes. So those things that are very popular have a lot of last minute bidding, so be aware of that. And today and Sunday, you can preview the auction items in the admin building. And a lot of the artwork, I really think you have to see up close. It really doesn't do it justice on the pictures. Okay, so in closing, I want to thank the auction team, chaired by Ellen Newberg, which includes Lena Hajak, Lisa Johnson, Celine Patterson, Terry Mallory, and Susan Welsh. And I really want to thank Ellen. She has chaired the auction committee for many years and is now the chair of Ways and Means. To me, she is a superstar. She is driven to make the annual KUUF auction an event which strengthens our community and generates big bucks, while making it a lot of fun. Thank you, Ellen, for your generosity. I think your donations, your and Alan, are too numerous to count in this year's auction. And thank you for everyone for making this a success. So it's really pretty fun. The app on the iPhone works really well for bidding, keeps you up to date, so sign on and log in. Thank you.
Now please stand as you are willing or able to join in singing our musical call to worship, For the Beauty of the Earth, hymn number 21 in our gray hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition. The words will appear on the screen.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around skies, for the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Oh, you all sound great this morning. Again, welcome to the Kitsap Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. We are so glad to be together this morning in this loving, vibrant community. This morning, there's a new program starting here at KUUF. 1 to 2 safety monitors will be present for each Sunday service to address any safety concerns that may arise. The training of our safety monitors has included first aid, verbal de-escalation or compassionate listening, and emergency evacuation protocols. Safety monitors are going to be sitting in the back of the sanctuary near the exits, and they can be identified by yellow name tags that say safety monitor. This morning, our safety monitor is Matt Haver. Whoever you are and wherever you come from, for this hour we here are one gathered congregation, and all are welcome. My name is Liz Roberts, and in the spirit of our KUUF mission, as part of our ever-growing welcome, I offer you this self-description. I am in my mid-50s, I have short dark hair, I wear glasses, and this morning I'm wearing a black dress with a floral print. I've been attending KUUF since the mid-1990s. In my time here, I've sung in the choir, served on the board of directors, taught spirit play to our youngest ones, and I currently serve on both the Committee on Shared Ministry and our Children's Religious Education Committee. This is the community that my family has turned to in times of joy and times of need, and I am truly honored and grateful to be here among you this morning. This morning, our worship leader is Reverend April Frazier. Reverend Frazier is a board-certified chaplain, and after working in hospitals, has spent the last decade working in home hospice. She is an affiliated community minister at Shoreline UUC. She received her Master's of Divinity at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. She finds joy in nature, creative projects, and spending time with her family. Welcome. If you're visiting us this morning, welcome. If you're here in person, we look forward to welcoming you after the service during our coffee hour. If you're attending online, please introduce yourself in the chat, and either way, we are so glad you are here. I invite you to follow along in the order of service. For those of you attending virtually, all the links for this morning's service, including the order of service, are on our website and were in this morning's worship service email. Now, if you're in the sanctuary this morning, please silence your electronic devices, even if you're bidding. And well, no. Other announcements are available on our website, www.kuuf.org, or in our weekly email newsletter, The Candle. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the Aboriginal territory of the Suquamish people. Expert fishermen, canoe builders, and basket weavers, the Suquamish live in harmony with the lands and waterways along Washington's Central Salish Sea, as they have for thousands of years. Here, the Suquamish live and protect the land and waters of their ancestors for future generations, as promised by the Point Elliott Treaty of 1855.
Good morning. I'm Reverend April, and I have pale skin, I have dark blonde hair in a messy bun, I'm in my 40s, and I'm wearing glasses and a minister's robe that is black, and my stole is rainbow colors. Here are our opening words. Here we are together. Let us settle in for this sacred time in this sacred space. May the time ahead bring what you need, a soothing balm, a different perspective, connectedness to community, a centering in what you deeply know. Let us be here, present, with curiosity, openness, and grace.
I'd now like to welcome Sue Ablau to come up and light the chalice this morning. Sue has been coming to KUUF for over 6 years. She is at least a 30-plus year member of the Ground Zero Center for Nonviolent Action in Poulsbo, and she's mother of 7, grandmother of 14, great-grandma to 1, but soon 2. She's also my very dear friend. Join me now in lighting our chalice. If you have your own chalice or a candle at home, I invite you to light it as I read our chalice lighting words, written by the Reverend Suzelle Lynch, who happened to be the minister here at KUUF from 1995 through 2003. The flame we kindle in the chalice of faith holds the blessings of warmth and light and life-giving energy. It shines forth a beacon to guide us all home. It lights up our longings to connect and to share. It possesses the power to shape a world where equity and compassion reign supreme. May this warmth and this light and life-giving energy celebrate the blessings we have claimed and help us extend them in hands and hearts that offer these blessings to all. Please join me now in our spoken affirmation. The words will appear on the screen. We gather as a caring community, seeking life's deeper meanings. We value diversity and affirm the worth of all living things. We strive to speak truth in love, to act for justice, to grow in spirit, and to care for the earth. We celebrate with open hearts and minds the creative power that sustains and transforms us. Our next hymn, number 354, We Laugh, We Cry, was written by Shelley Jackson Denham, former music director at the Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church in Cincinnati, Ohio. Shelley wrote 5 of the hymns in Singing the Living Tradition, our gray hymnal. So please stand as you're willing or able and join in singing the first 3 verses of hymn number 354, We Laugh, We Cry. The words will appear on the screens. If you are following along in the order of service, the number was incorrect, but it is 354 if you want to look in the gray hymnal.
We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing a song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe special glow. We see time's endless journey as we watch the baby grow. We thrill to hear imagination freely running wild. We dedicate our minds and hearts, we can claim it of this child, and we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a time to be together, and with the grace of age, we share the wonder of youth, and we believe that growing is an answer. Our lives are full of wonder and is very brief. The death of one among us fills us all with pain and grief. But as we live, so shall we die, and when our lives are done, the memories we shared with friends, they will linger on and on. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow. We have the gift to believe that peace within our living is the answer.
Now, Melinda Hughes, our Director of Religious Education, will share our time for all ages.
Ooh, bigger step. Good morning, everyone. As Ginny mentioned at the beginning of the service, for the month of November, the theme is the gift of generosity. And our children are going to be exploring generosity. And some of you may know, but this is one of the values proposed by the Article 2 Commission. So I want to share those words with you. Generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. In this morning's RE session, they're going to be exploring moving from the idea that only people close to me deserve care to more generosity and generously extending our love to wider and wider circles. With that, I share with you today's story, The Circles All Around Us by Brad Montague. We begin by drawing a circle on the ground along each shoe. A safe little place for just one person. Nobody in this circle but you. You could keep that circle closed to everyone but yourself, but that would be like a library with just one book on the shelf. So let's draw a bigger circle for you and your family to share. Now you see what all can happen in a circle full of care. There's Granny and Papa with Granny Dot and Papa Bit, Great Granny and her cats, Buttons, Gizmo, Mowgli, Whiskers, and Ted, Barkley with Uncle Hank, and a new cousin. It becomes a happier circle as more loved ones come to stay. And wouldn't it be even better if all your friends could come and play? So you stretch and draw your circle even bigger than it's been before, and let a few more people know they're welcome to come in. In the circles all around us, everywhere that we all go, there's a difference we can make and a love we can all show. Yet, there are still so many outside the circle who are different in all they do. Though it feels slightly uncomfortable, we draw a bigger circle for them too. It doesn't mean the circle is easy. It can get harder the more we share. But wonderful things can happen when love is known and felt everywhere. As time passes, our eyes open, we see others we really care for. And that's when we ask ourselves, well, what's this circle really there for? So let us create bigger circles all around us for the rest of our days. Let our caring ripple out in a million little ways. In the circles all around us, everywhere that we all go, there's a difference we can make and a love we can all show. As our circles grow and grow, and we watch them wonder-eyed, remember, the first circle started with just the love you hold inside. Generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit and sing Our Children on Their Way. They're already gone.
We gather as a religious community to give each one of us a place where we can do the work of many. Together, our light is much brighter than a solitary flame. Now is the time in our service when we share in the sacred act of giving, an expression of gratitude transformed into generosity that breathes life into our mission. As part of our mission that inspires us to act on our beliefs, we share our weekly offering with a local nonprofit agency providing services within our larger community. Our charitable giving recipient for the month of November is Q Youth Resources. Q Youth Resources is an all-volunteer nonprofit based right here in Kitsap County. QYR believes that they can have the most impact in Kitsap County when the financial barriers that are unique to LGBTQ+ young people and their supporters are addressed. They also schedule and run events dedicated to LGBTQ+ needs and experiences for education, professional growth, and fun. They sponsor the annual Pink Prom. In a moment, our ushers will be moving among us with baskets to collect the offering. Donations placed in the baskets will go to Q Youth Resources. If you would like your offering to be used for KUUF, please use one of the envelopes provided to you with your order of service when you came into the sanctuary. For those of you joining us online, you may go to our website, kuuf.org, then select the Giving tab for PayPal and mailing information. If today is your first time at KUUF, please feel free to let the basket pass you by. Your presence is your gift. Let there be an offering to strengthen and sustain our community, which is sacred to all of us. Let us enjoy a gift of music from Aaron McFadden and Hannah Wadling performing I Shall Be Released by Bob Dylan.
Said everything can be replaced, but every distance is not near. I'll remember everything of every man that put me here. See my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, anyway now, I shall be released. You understand the man in this lonely crowd, a man that swears he's not to blame. All day long I hear him crying out loud, calling out that he's been praying. See my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, anyway now, I shall be released.
Now is the time for our joys and sorrows. When shared together, our joys are amplified and our sorrows lessened. Sue Matten writes that she's wanting to have a candle of sorrow this morning. Light a candle for Keeson. She was a great dog for over 18 years, and we miss her. So sorry. Someone wants a candle of joy lit for the glorious leaves that we see all around us. Gratitude to the earth. There's also a candle of concern for a few of our members that have recently had surgeries, and so I want to hold this morning Sam and Jessica. And we light one last candle for those joys and sorrows which are still too tender to share. Please join me now in a moment of prayer or intention. In the spirit of community in which we find strength and common purpose, we share our joys, our sorrows, our hopes, and our dreams. We have turned our minds and hearts toward one another in trust, giving love, seeking comfort, and celebrating together. We are part of the web of life that makes us one with all humanity, one with all the universe. In all the moments of our lives, for those loved ones and events shared here this morning, and for those we yet hold in the silence of our hearts, we are truly grateful for the love and support of this beloved community. May the spirit of life and love bring peace to us all. Amen, and blessed be. Please remain seated as we sing together Spirit of Life, which is hymn number 123 in our gray hymnal. The words will appear on your screen. Reverend April will now give the reading.
The reading is a poem by Mary Oliver titled, "To Begin With the Sweetgrass." Will the hungry ox stand in the field and not eat of the sweetgrass? Will the owl bite off its own wings? Will the lark forget to lift its body in the air or forget to sing? Will the rivers run upstream? Behold, I say, behold, the reliability and the finery and the teachings of this gritty earth gift. Eat bread and understand comfort. Drink water and understand delight. Visit the garden where the scarlet trumpets are opening their bodies for the hummingbirds, who are drinking the sweetness, who are thrillingly gluttonous. For one thing leads to another. Soon you will notice how stones shine underfoot. Eventually, tides will be the only calendar you believe in. And someone's face whom you love will be a star, both intimate and ultimate, and you will be both heart-shaken and respectful. And you will hear the air itself like a beloved whisper, "Oh, let me, for a while longer, enter the two beautiful bodies of your lungs." The witchery of living is my whole conversation with you, my darlings. All I can tell you is what I know. Look and look again. The world is not just a thrill for the eyes. It's more than bones. It's more than the delicate wrist with its personal pulse. It's more than the beating of the single heart. It's praising. It's giving until the giving feels like receiving. You have a life. Just imagine that. You have this day and maybe another, and maybe still another. Someday I'm going to ask my friend Paulus, the dancer, the potter, to make me a begging bowl, which I believe my soul needs. And if I come to you, to the door of your comfortable house, with unwashed clothes and unclean fingernails, will you put something in it? I would like to take this chance. I would like to give you this chance. We do one thing or another. We stay the same or we change. Congratulations if you have changed. Let me ask you this. Do you also think that beauty exists for some fabulous reason? And if you have not been enchanted by this adventure, your life, what would do for you? What I loved in the beginning, I think, was mostly myself. Never mind that I had to, since somebody had to. That was many years ago. Since then, I have gone out from my confinements, though with difficulty. I mean the ones that thought to rule my heart. I cast them out, put them in the mush pile. There will be nourishment somehow. Everything is nourishment somehow or another. And I have become the child of the clouds and of hope. I have become the friend of the enemy, whoever that is. I have become older, and cherishing what I have learned, I have become younger. And what do I risk to tell you this, which is all I know? Love yourself, then forget it, then love the world. Now please join me in a minute or two of reflection, followed by our post-reflection music. Thank you for your music. Have you ever had something that you read over and over, not because you wanted to, but because of the situation, you were a captive audience, such as the back of a cereal box, an advertisement while you're stuck in traffic, or that magazine from 1986 while you're sitting in the doctor's waiting room? To follow that analogy for those who may not read or are reading in a different language than what you see, perhaps it is a picture or a painting, or for those with vision issues, it could be a noise or a particular smell. At first, when it catches your attention, you don't like it. But after 100 or 1,000 times, it becomes a comfort you look forward to until it comes to a point where you enjoy it. Perhaps like the taste of coffee, an acquired taste, until your day isn't the same without it. For me, it was a book when I was at the doctor's office at the age of 7. I had to get allergy shots, which means regular appointments of waiting before being called back for the shot, and then afterwards waiting in the for about 15 minutes to make sure there's no bad reaction. So every week I was there in the waiting room, a captive audience. Of course, in second grade, I wasn't up for the level of reading in the newspaper or magazines, and you can only look at the pictures so much. There was one children's book. I ended up turning it into a game, pushing my reading until the goal of reading the whole book during the time of one doctor's office visit. The book, You're Only Old Once, by Dr. Seuss. I'm going to pause for a moment here and acknowledge recent public awareness regarding racist stereotypes and offensive illustrations in a few of Dr. Seuss's books. I considered not using this example with you today because of this. I didn't want the tension of it to distract from the meaning of the message and example. Let me ask this. Is it possible for us to hold the fact of this awareness along with how he was a brilliant storyteller and beloved author and helped children learn to enjoy reading? Can we understand the time and place the books were written, as well as challenging such things as is necessary to move toward liberation for all? This is like a lot of things in life. Holding multiple truths and living in the midst of discomfort and being willing to grow. Holding the truth of living and the truth of dying without looking away, without denying the difficulty or the joy. Not that it's easy, but we are going forward nonetheless, whether with kicking and screaming or with grace and an open heart. Decades later, as I go back and read You're Only Old Once, I realize it's not exactly a children's book. I can see the humor now that my 7-year-old self could not begin to realize. I had no idea what this book meant, but the most memorable part was the main character being tasked with the pill drill after receiving prescriptions from 12 doctors. This is an excerpt from that page. Go to room 663, where a voice will instruct you. Repeat after me. This small white pill is what I munch at breakfast and right after lunch. I take the pill that's Kelly Green before each meal and in between. I take 3 blues at 8:30 to slow my exhalation rate. On alternate nights at 9 p.m., I swallow pinkies, 4 of them. The reds, which make my eyebrows strong, I eat like popcorn all day long. Does this sound at all familiar? As a child, it was so funny to me to think of taking pills like popcorn all day long. After spending so much time working in healthcare settings, this pill drill takes on a different tone. We have heard phrases such as, "you're only young once," or "you only live once," as opposed to the one from this book, "you're only old once." Or how often we have heard, "life is too short." I remember something a friend said a long time ago as he was describing a situation with someone he might have chosen as a spouse. After breaking up, he said, "Life is too long to deal with such destructive behavior." I had never thought before about the idea of life is too long, but it makes sense as we think about how we want to spend the time we have ahead of us, however long or short it may be. When illness or injury strikes, we may be shaken up and turned around and forced to look at life differently. One of these stark moments of realization for me came after a car accident with injuries which led to a cascade of life impacts. There were times when all I could do was lie on the couch all day. To even wash dishes was more than I was able to do. We live in a world where we are judged and valued by what we can do. And when our bodies cannot do what is expected, what then? Questions of meaning, purpose, and faith arise. I have visited countless people now confined to their beds and forced to rely on others for their basic needs, thus have begun to ask, why am I still here? The vital and excruciating spiritual work is learning to just be, to let go of judgment based on what we can or cannot do. Sometimes I stop and ask myself, what would I say to a friend going through this? Often we can be kinder to others than to ourselves. What would your friend say to you? You are loved and you matter. Your value is beyond what you can do, but who you are. Life is too short and life is too long to judge ourselves. In hospice, we talk about living until we die, holding the truth of dying alongside the truth that we are yet living in the world. I think a powerful example of this was visiting hospice patients and their families while I was pregnant. Here I was, sitting with people who were dying, and I was carrying a child within me on the other side of the life cycle. And what did I discover? Shared joy and sacred space. The truth of their approaching death was held with the truth of my baby's approaching birth, and each enhanced the beauty of the moments, the sorrow more poignant, and the joy achingly sweet. We spend so much of our time thinking about the past or the future and lose focus of the present moment. Yes, thinking about the past and the future is important. As we look back, we can acknowledge and process the truth of our grief and loss and find healing. Thinking ahead is practical and responsible. At the same time, we know that joy is found when we are embracing the moment we are in. Consider the wisdom found in Buddhism. I still remember one of my professors from divinity school, Dr. John Tatamanel, when he taught us about the Buddhist concept of grasping. He gave the example of how if he is holding on to his daughter as a 4-year-old, he is missing out on the moments of joy with his daughter as a 5-year-old. Pain is caused by our grasping for what was. Pain comes from wishing things were different. Life is too short, Life is too long to miss out on what is in front of us because we are grasping so tightly to what was or will never be. What about how we might hold tight to some idea of who we are based on what others think of us? Many of us hide who we are or pretend to be someone we're not by projecting an image of what we think other people want us to be. This is exhausting and heartbreaking. How do we want to live these days, months, and years we have ahead of us? In my work as a chaplain, as a friend, as a human, I would say one of the things that makes an important difference in our life's happiness is feeling free to be who we really are, to live as our authentic selves. This includes being vulnerable and open with those we trust, to talk about what it is like to live with illness, sitting in the midst of uncertainty and the fear of possibilities. Let us have the humility and grace to accept help. Yep, that's what I said, accept help. We may spend most of our lives being independent and able to do things on our own, and here we are in a situation where we can't do what we used to anymore. This can be so tough. We have more practice helping others than accepting help. What would it take to shift our perspective, to instead see it as a chance for us to let others have purpose, to consider it as giving our loved ones a gift so they can have something tangible to do in the midst of a situation where they cannot do anything else? Excuse me. May I offer a piece of practical advice? Please, for the love of God and all that is holy, talk to your loved ones about your wishes for the future concerning health care and other things. Make decisions about who will speak for you when you cannot speak for yourself. Outline specifics of your money and property and tell people your intentions. I have witnessed so many families broken apart with money and inheritance as the catalyst. Siblings that no longer tolerate being in the same room for the rest of their lives. Year after year, I see this happening with the families I meet in hospice. And this happened with two of my uncles. It's been about 30 years now and counting. Please do not let this happen to your family. In some ways, it seems better for a person to die with no money at all rather than to have a family fractured forever. I have spoken to many people who don't want to have conversations about dying and their choices for medical interventions because they are afraid or because it might be uncomfortable. But if we don't, what are the possible consequences? I beg of you, please think about what you want and tell those you trust. Give someone authority and get the legal paperwork done. If we don't, it is possible your next of kin, according to law, is not who you want to make decisions for you. Or legal next of kin is a group of people who are mandated to make consensus decisions, and the conflict is hurtful and unforgettable. If you are looking for a way to begin the conversation, how about starting with, I know this is difficult to talk about. And it is important for everyone to know, and it will make it easier when the time comes. We need not wait to have these conversations with our loved ones. We all know how quickly life can change in a moment, any age. Not just illness and disease, but also the dangers of driving, choking, bee stings, falling with head injuries. I know, I think about death a lot. I guess that's what happens working in hospice. One of the benefits of working alongside death every day is an acute awareness of the fragility of life and the reoccurring reminder to not take life, mobility, and ease of breathing for granted. Also, it inspires me to live with intention, to seek beauty and see wonder in the world around me. I think one of the reasons I have been able to sustain myself and this work is having young children in my life. To go from the space of sacred and poignant moments of dying to home with sacred and tender moments, speaking words of gratefulness to my spouse and cuddling with my children on the couch. I ask you to think of where you find meaning and joy. What restores your spirit? These are the things that will help us as we live in the midst of knowing we will die. There is more to be said about living in the midst of death and dying, and this can be a jumping off point for further conversations. But for today, I hope we can all let go of our projections and expectations and be free to be who we really are. May we remember our value is beyond what we can do. Please talk openly with your loved ones regarding your end-of-life wishes. Practice accepting help with grace when needed. May we all learn to stop grasping what our lives used to be and what can never be. Let us keep our eyes open to see the beauty and joy around us. And may we have the courage to live while knowing we will die. And by holding both these truths, we will more easily be able to embrace the present moment, to breathe and be. Closing hymn is 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our stories from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, We are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place.
After the service is over today, you are invited to join everyone for coffee hour. Coffee and tea will be served in our foyer. There's also a new to UU class today at 11:45 in the Elmore room. If you are newish to KUUF or curious about Unitarian Universalism, you're warmly invited to grab a cup of something hot and maybe a little treat and meet the welcoming committee in the Elmore room.
For our closing words, may we go now from this place, buoyed by kindness and a solid knowing that you are not alone. May we have courage when we need it, and may the coming days bring healing and peace. Amen, and blessed be.